Welcome back, friends, to Occultists Anonymous. Sponsored by Roll20, the Onyx Path, and viewers like you. Thank you very much to all our supporters. Hang out with us, support us, and like I mentioned in the last episode, incentivize at least me to do extra stuff, because why not? You guys like us, I like you, let's do more stuff. Like Cyberpunk Red, December 13th at 7 p.m. Eastern. Only on twitch.tv/Occultists Anonymous, and probably on YouTube later. Definitely going to put a big caveat there that it will probably take a little bit before I finally finish that one, because I have to do that editing while also doing the editing for OA. So just, hold your horses. You can, of course, check out the VOD, I believe. That's
your cyber horses.
That's one. It'll be in a different channel, right?
Yes, it'd be twitch.tv/Occultists Anonymous. That VOD will be there, which should not, I need to double check the setting, should not require a subscription. So if by happenstance you see all this stuff and just yell at me on Discord and be like, hey, dummy, you left the VOD setting wrong, and I go fix it.
It may only stay for like 60 days or whatever.
60 days or something like that. And if I don't have the YouTube video edited within 60 days, check on me, because I'm probably dead because World Sat got me. I had so much fun recording that. That was me up in the attic, by the way, kids. Right.
Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
Yeah. Again, thank you very much to our patrons: Adele, Al, Alan, Michael, Alexander, Bernie, Blood Angel, Brendan, Caltriad is cute, gross. Chris, Delore, Emil, Funzo Suru Ali, George, Jack, Jenny, John, Josh, Cat Feathers, Crazy Man Awakened, now with an N, Melissa, Michael, Milo V3, Moku, Neomegas, Nova, Other Michael, Perry, Puppeteer, Ramon, Rovisgrad, Ryan, Sheksara, Cinna, That Dude, The Late Mr. Graves, The ARG is Real, Thomas, Vortex, Woodfoot, and Zoltan. And before anybody freaks out, no, that ARG thing is not from the ARG person who's running that. If you don't know what we're talking about, I went over it on the last video and you just missed out. Go check that out. Cool. Yes, 2 times the editing. But multiplied, because we're probably going to play for our normal duration and I'm going to have 2 more voices.
At this point, it's self-inflicted. So.
Right, I know. I have nobody to blame but myself. Right. So when we last left the Cabal, they were cruising down. I don't know.
Fast and Furious.
They in very down. I don't know what particular interstate number, but from New York down to Boston, and were intercepted by. Not really intercepted by, but Atreides noticed a tail, and they tried to get a look in, but had some problems with that. And so it was warded, and then Atreides flung a spell out of Tyre and also found a ward, but she got through. They had a nasty flat tire that just did not want to change. And then Songbird caught up to Atreides, and the 2 of them are cruising now and actually have arrived at a disused, falling apart cabin in the woods.
Not what I thought when Weird said she knew a cabin. I thought it might be like habitable.
A cozy little witch cabin? Nah.
Cottagecore? No.
No. So, do you want to fix it?
I mean, there is definitely enough of a roof to like remain in. The floors probably have weeds coming up through it. Probably not a place that you would want to spend multiple nights here, but if you brought a backpack or a sleeping bag, you could probably make do. Fortunately, you guys have a mage that has co-locate, so you don't really actually have to stay here long.
Yeah.
Yes, Twitch, that is a movie.
Mm-hmm.
No, the plumbing does not work. There is no plumbing.
Do we want to set up in the yard?
I mean,
Sure.
none of you guys have ever done this before, so
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I was just gonna kind of like lay them out in a circle, right? And when word gets here with the other one, complete the circle and then sort of step back
Sure.
and see if anything happens.
cool. So you guys unload your Lamborghinis. What? What is this game?
It is a long walk from the road to the cottage, like to the cabin.
Right, and like I said, they drove up to the cabin,
To the cabin, yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't
like
think
on
there was a road.
the dirt road and stuff like that.
Okay.
And yeah,
I imagine Weird had to figure out what the address was. Then be like, oh, I guess there was a road there. Interesting.
Yeah.
All right, we ready for me to get there, or should I wait for a bit? Do you guys want to throw up some wards or protections or something before I come?
Yeah. I mean,
I think we'll be all right.
do we not want to, like... I mean, we can't do the space ward to stop us from being, like, spied on. That's a you thing.
Mm-hmm.
Sunbird can put up a just general magical ward.
yeah, wards and signs on an area will protect the area from being affected, but not individual people.
Okay, well, yeah, I'm gonna set my little skeleton, make it sit down.
Sits cross-legged, just kind of crisscross
And then-
applesauce.
Put the gross scroll beside it. In my head, I am arranging a pentagram. You go put your other things at 2 more points.
I like how Atreides is like, all right, fine, if we're going to do this hardcore occult way. This stuff all goes here, dragging her foot through the ground to make the
Okay,
circle.
but I have thoughts here.
Mhm.
The skeleton is arrayed sort of Vesuvian man.
You want to put your things like
The light, like in particular places.
could work.
The lightning, because the lightning jar is not like huge, right?
It's about that big.
Does it say like fit in the chest cavity?
Be a little bit of a tight fit, but you could probably
Like stick it up inside the ribcage.
Hmm.
Sure.
The like skin scroll.
Sort of drape
laid
it
on.
over.
What's up? Like
Sure.
draped over.
Yeah.
And the tablet like in one hand.
Sure.
Stories go in the head, right? Weird.
I suppose. Or in the other hand. Like a
Yeah.
book.
Yeah.
All right, so am I showing up now?
Yeah, if you're ready. Then I'm just going to go ahead and step back some.
Duck behind the wall. Yeah.
So I'm like, I have Aesop's Fables in my hand.
Chuck.
No, I'm like leaning away and reaching out and sort of wincing as I set it in the skeleton's hand to hold it like a book.
Okay.
And then I turn on my magic eyes.
Sure.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got some scrutiny going on here.
Sure. So first off, is anybody using stuff outside of your ruling arcana?
No, I'm just going to use my rolling.
Yeah, same here.
Or wait, no, I want to turn on spirit, actually.
Okay. Yeah, because I was going to say spirit is the only one missing.
Spirit is gonna
for-
be, yeah.
That seems important. Like, it might be important.
Potentially. So yes, with that 1 mana, the 3 of you cover the entire spectrum of Arcana and can see everything. And you see 5 grimoires sitting here inert. Definitely has, I think, with Prime, there is a definite like resonance with them that has kind of synced up that was not there before. Like, this is a random puzzle piece and this is a random puzzle piece, but you bring them all together and you're like, oh, okay, no, these actually do go together, and they make a complete picture, which from the Prime side this is the complete set. This is your books 1 through 5 of 5. There's a nice little resonance that you get there. Fate is probably giving a similar, like, these things go together. They are part of one, even though they are 5 separate different objects. But nothing actually, poof, happens. Which there's probably that moment of anticlimax and then, okay, roll up the sleeves.
Okay.
Time to do some mage shit.
Do some magic at it.
It's a do that scrutiny thing.
Okay. And like I said, we're just throwing out scrutiny and just doing revelation. Just that way this doesn't drag out. This is going to be your Gnosis plus Preferred Arcana minus 5. Whiff.
Nope. Death and fate tell us nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Can I try it with mind?
1 second. We'll see what happens with this first cycle of whiff. So the 3 of you sheepishly going, aren't we supposed to be good at this? No. Go, okay, first attempt. Nothing comes up.
Nothing there.
Or at least you can't comprehend it. You cannot re-roll these. So pick a different arcana if you wish. But yeah, your first initial, searching of stuff, and not only does this stuff, and feel free to go ahead and roll again as I narrate here. It not only appears like, oh, this is all in high speech and supernal runes and stuff like that. It feels like they're translating into a different language, almost like this is just another step outside. To use a really rough metaphor, you're used to speaking Spanish, and all of this is in French, and it's like this is real close, but it's not enough for me to actually comprehend. So we got mind, we got space. And what was that, Ash?
Says we're getting something this time.
Oh, yes. And matter. Oh, and spent willpower. Okay, so initial understandings. We'll just start at the top. Atratus looking at this with mind. Obviously, the Codex of Cerebromancy stands out, and with the context of everything that is here, you definitely see that these are, it's a grimoire. It's got some mind spells and a little bit of space. But the orientation connecting all the others, it seems off. This doesn't seem how they fit together, both from a physical location as well as a kind of arcane relation to each other. For weird, space actually gives you that same kind of thing. Actually, a lot of these don't rewind. Space basically shows these things are connected, and connected with a capital C, sympathetic levels of these are the same thing, but again, they feel like they're not where they're supposed to be and disjointed from that nature. The other thing, go ahead.
Just clarifying question, not where they're supposed to be in relation to each other, or not where they're supposed to be?
Yes, both. So the other thing I should very quickly also notate is that you guys also get the same nimbus that Songbird had previously spotted of this Archmage who has made these things. And Songbird...
What is that nimbus again?
Yep. Thanks for calling me out, bud. Your character dies first on December 13th at 7 p.m.
Probably fine.
And your matter inspection, which you really throw some willpower into, confirms these things are not in the form that they belong in. So there's definitely across that first inspection where you guys squint real hard, everything seems a little disjointed and out of place.
Do I have any sense of where they're supposed to be assembled? Is there a connection, or
Do we need to actually like reshape them and actually reassemble a body?
So let's start with Craig's question. Roll. Roll intellect plus occult to basically study what you are seeing.
I'll take my +2.
Sure. There's a reason I gave you that bonus. Okay. So looking at everything and pulling from Weird's kind of personal codex of stuff, these things are not aligned under the right stars. The proper celestial alignment. Well, not necessarily alignment, because that sounds like a time thing, but the stars aren't right for this placement. And there's definitely an immediate these are not laid out physically in relation to one another appropriately. There feels like it's a Venn diagram with too much overlap.
Mm-hmm. So there's two things I want to explore. One is where they need to be situated in terms of stellar location.
Sure.
To line them up. But the second thing I want to investigate further is to how the pieces are supposed to fit together.
Okay. And because this will help, because this is definitely a multi-person puzzle kind of thing as you guys chat with each other. So I'm going to point out that, Songbird probably mentions that these things are in the wrong forms. So with that,
I think
go ahead.
The cerebromancy should go inside the head.
That is
the mind, right?
I see where you're going. But yeah, basically with, as Weird looks at this stuff and goes, okay, this stuff is in the wrong relation, both where you are physically and also in relation to each other. Songbird pointing out that these things aren't even the right shape. So you're definitely realizing that you're messing with some kind of odd puzzle. So moving down, what was it you asked me about, Ash? Because I've already brain dead.
I was talking about actually physically reshaping the objects and then reassembling them in the body.
Okay. Similar. Go ahead and give me an intelligence plus occult check to kind of look at that, and take a +1. As you hear this kind of soft, clipped, can you do both? British voice in your ear, whispering some suggestions, and then also roll resolve plus composure.
Got 13 dice at it now.
Right.
Yeah. 4 successes.
Cool. So, same question I had asked you before. Would you like to spend a mana to make that an exceptional success and shut her up for the next 24 hours? Or do you let her hang around?
No, I like shutting her up.
Okay. Spend the mana and go, no, don't need your help.
I mean, honestly, I wouldn't turn down her feedback, but I don't want her to be at risk of actually taking over. Right,
and this is the pro con list that you have to decide. So yeah, lock her up in the wing of the house. Go over there.
Well, in the dungeon of the mental palace.
What's the other wing? Travis isn't a terrible host.
It's a very nice house. She's just gonna stay there, locked away from my thoughts and running my body.
Right. So yeah, with your intelligence plus occult, you definitely feel like you are on the right path, that the objects should be together, but you immediately throw out the idea that they fit in a skeleton. They fit a human body. They fit something else, some other shape. You're not immediately able to pick up what it is. It may require a little bit more poking at it.
Is there a crafts-based roll
if you want to do that,
that I can make? It's queuing on off the matter of okay, so what are these things supposed to be?
I'm cool with that. I like that as a different way of looking at it. Yeah, definitely do. It's still probably going to be intelligence, but it'll be plus crafts.
I could also help us with that.
With what?
Boost all of our intelligence.
Oh, there's a possibility. Cool.
Hey.
That one.
Yeah, so heavy lean into that Forge Master that basically says, these are all objects, these are all tools. How do I make them work? And I think for Songbird, there is a look of, that is a screwdriver that is bent into an L shape, which technically, yes, that can be used still as a screwdriver, but it's not as effective if it were straightened out. Like everything is usable, but not the way it's supposed to be. It is very out of its supernal alignment, to put it that way. And similar to the conclusion that Atratus picked up, these don't make a body. These things are supposed to be reshaped, and I would say epiphany, the kind of supernal revelation that you have, is of a singular, trying to figure out how to describe, like a code wheel where you have rotating sections of 5 that are all connected, and very, very, like, it would be a very, very simple object in the fact that it would have like one grimoire is one section with all the writing across it and a little bulb that the other connects to, and so all of them can be lined up and connected to each other. And then you suspect that probably also then have to be set in a particular orientation to one another. But you have in your head what they're supposed to be in terms of a physical shape.
So, can we just reshape them?
I mean, you've already slightly experimented with it in the fact that Judd's
Pulled the bones out?
Mm-hmm,
Yeah.
right.
But they need to be in a specific location as well.
When put together.
Mm-hmm.
I take a crack at the shaping.
Sure.
Prime and matter.
You can just use matter.
Oh, okay. And yeah, I'll try to do work this.
To help? Sure.
Hmm?
Just like in a system, right?
Yeah, I think. Well, it's like casting the same spell, right? So,
Yep.
But yeah, like Gnosis matter is probably fine.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
4 successes from me.
And what's
Because,
that?
like,
That's
I don't.
weird.
Yeah, because like I don't have the picture in my head of what it is.
Right.
You're the one that got that, so.
And actually,
I
exactly.
mean, we talk it through, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
That's
sure.
the kind of the idea is we sit there and talk it through for a while and then do a ritual duration of.
Yep. And we will have a wits plus crafts from Songbird after the Gnosis plus matter. +4?
My successes.
Oh, thank you. Cool. Yeah, so Gnosis plus, or not Gnosis, wits plus crafts to actually get the objects into the correct form. Actually, we will say the first one to start. We will speed up the others, but this will be all Songbird because he's the one
Actually doing the shaping.
Mm-hmm. Nice. 5 successes, and pick an object. Which one are you starting with?
Skeleton.
Okay. So yeah, which basically gets kind of smushed down into, especially because of the level of matter that you both have. Transubstantiation is just kind of like, whatever, we're just going to twist this thing up into solid bone with these essay worth of runes across the side of it, get it shaped up properly, make sure that the grimoire runes are actually readable, kind of set it down, and not having you guys roll or anything like that, but just looking at it, like there's a definite like relief from all three of you of like, that's right. and
it didn't break.
And
Right.
what is it now?
Think of like the
Like
code.
Like a
like
Da Vinci
a-
Code
like a
scroll
cipher.
thing.
Yeah.
Oh, the cipher scroll. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you think of it as being cylinder, fairly narrow cylinder or squat
It's a
cylinder.
very complicated bike lock.
Also true. Yep.
Basically, yeah. With like tumblers that twist. Which
Yes,
are
thank you
each
for
one is gonna
making
be a
the
grimoire.
super cool arcane thing. It's a bike lock. Fuck. But yes,
I do what I do.
it is pretty much that. So it will have a couple different cylinders that rotate, and they will all sit together. Looking at it, they're on the like bulbous end of the thing. There's no special, twisty bits that are going to require. It's just a smooth spot that the adjacent one will fit
Just
into.
snap together, and then you have to align them properly.
Correct.
And then I guess put it under the right stars.
Yep. And bear in mind, stars, that's me pulling from Weird's background. Someplace on existence is where it needs to go. So with that first one kind of completed, it's much easier to kind of follow that process and combine these down. And so you have...
Especially with an exceptional success.
What was that, Craig?
My interpretation of it wasn't necessarily stars, but under a certain sky.
That's another good way of looking at it.
Yeah.
Can I start digging into, I guess, academics and seeing what I know about all of the sources of these things?
Sure.
See if I can try to parse out where they're meant to go.
And with Songbird having had your help that first time around, it's like, okay, this is super doable. Notably, the only one that gives Songbird any pause is the jar of lightning. That's like, okay, I'm gonna bring in some forces here.
I need to keep the lightning inside.
Y'all watch this one. This one's gonna be good.
And go ahead and make your roll as I continue my narration. At the end, you basically have
and academics.
Yeah,
seems right.
You have a cylinder of bone, of very unfortunate to touch flesh. A glass. What's a little? Oh my gosh! You touch on a little lightning. The jar almost
Plasma
basically
ball.
just reshapes.
Yeah,
Yes.
the little static
Plasma
balls.
ball, right?
Yep.
Static electricity thing.
Yeah.
Or Tesla coil.
No. It's just the little touch and
plasma
The
ball.
little
Yeah,
jar
yeah.
with the things that follow your fingers.
Yep. Sorry, bone, flesh, glass, and lightning,
Stone.
stone, and paper. Or probably once you've combined it down, probably more like bamboo or wood. And all of them have very different textures. They all kind of lock together, and it takes you just a second to get them. Well, actually, I don't know how quickly you get them in the right order, but you definitely know that the bone one is on one end because it does not have an indentation on one side, and the flesh one is the other end, and then in between is the wood, the glass, and lightning and stone.
Lightning in the middle
Sure.
for aesthetic purposes.
Sure.
I get 2 successes on my
Okay. Now give me an intelligence plus occult.
I figure it's like an academics and occult roll.
Right. Okay.
4 successes on that one.
Nice. So Atratus sits there while Songbird is just being a forge master in their element. And you basically cross-reference, all right, everything that all these, as far as you are aware, have been found in pyramid locations, which is your intelligence plus academics, all these things. And you also kind of point out that they're across a widespread of time zones, timelines, whatever. Periods of history.
Yeah.
And then intelligence plus occult. Kind of come up with, well, that's probably right in the fact that it's a pyramid, and then you start to go through your various pyramid iconography from occult, which points you immediately to, well, there's the Iron Pyramid of the Seers. There's the what was the other thing? The Panopticon itself, and
Celestial Ladder.
Yeah. If I can't think of any others.
If an official doctrine that the Silver Ladder talks about the rungs getting narrower as it goes up, but they certainly operate that way.
Yeah. And the iconography. The iconography is slightly triangular shaped.
I am more worried now about waking up this guy.
We're fine.
But trying to figure out if that will help me. Are there any, like, can I think of any notable pyramids?
I mean, quite a few. You can name 5
that we went to, a couple that we didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like the ones that we went to. It's like we got the pyramids here, and the pyramids here, and the pyramids here, and it's like, is there some part of the world that we haven't gone to?
Cairo.
I kind of thought this one came from there, though. The most recent one.
You don't know where this one came from.
That's true.
But
You could ask your headmate.
right. But Ursula is from Cairo, and you do not know where this one was actually dug up from, but that's her origin place. So it's not hard for you to guess that, but you don't know. But then, I mean, there's pyramids all over the place.
A lot of a lot of Southeast Asian ones. More Mexican ones.
Mm-hmm.
The continental U.S. has like mounds. I don't know if we're counting those.
Perry says, y'all gonna awaken a Ponzi. No.
Ponzi. Hey.
And I mean,
that doesn't give me much direction as to where to.
No, and to slightly meta, Atreides probably goes, I don't have enough information to draw a conclusion.
Yeah.
And I make another scrutiny roll.
With what?
To see if there's any different things going on now that it's more assembled.
I think so. That's
Speaks
fine.
Better.
Yeah, the things are.
I felt like that was
clearer.
a better question to ask than, is there more things to find out by looking at this now? So, can I make a roll?
Yes.
While he's working on that, am I in a dead end with the avenues of inquiry I had?
Say that one more time.
Am I at a dead end with the avenues of inquiry I had?
In terms of,
like, we've kind of solved the orientation thing, I think.
You, well, actually, neither orientation is actually correct. If just like a quick look at them again, you can definitely tell these are not in the right order.
Right.
Is now that what you can nor order, orientation, or location.
So I still wanted to try and get a sense of the sky that it was looking for.
Okay. Well, without a trying to think of the best way to orient this. What are you using as reference? Because, if you were to see a bunch of stars in your head, would Weird know where that goes? So what are you using to try and kind of set yourself up for orientation?
I'm not actually thinking of stars. I'm thinking of like a horizon. Like, what are the puzzle pieces that need to fit into the horizon to make it the right place?
I kind of like that. Cool. Go ahead and roll. I think that'd be just straight up Gnosis plus space. And Chris, did you already roll?
I didn't know if I had a penalty.
Nope.
Jesus.
9 successes.
And 4 from Weird. All right. Well, we'll start with Weird because that's what you were working on. It just takes you a second to basically swap things out, putting the metal, the glass and lightning at the end next to the flesh, the bone, stone, and then wood there in the center. Not quite sure why. They just fit better that way. And then
I just said it. I said it went in the middle because I didn't think it mattered.
And notably for Songbird, had no sensation of them being in a particular thing. So Songbird probably literally went, okay, plank. Okay, there they are all connected. And Space Mage, Itch goes, hang on, let's reorient these just a little bit. And then can start, fiddling with the combination lock aspect. And you realize that as you're looking at this, you wouldn't even be able to tell if the combination is correct without the right sky. So shifting into like, where does this stuff belong? And I'm trying to think of how Weird would see this.
Is it a rising or setting sun?
Well, we'll start with that. There is no sun. I think the view, the horizon, like you said. Well, fuck it. You got 4 successes. Weird, basically, kind of like mind's eye and like, okay, where does this thing belong? And looks out to the horizon, and then just turns, trying to view the full horizon, all 360 degrees, and keeps turning and turning and turning and turning and turning. And where does this thing end? And it's this infinite horizon that you just keep turning in your head to see.
I mean, you can still spin around once, right?
For whatever reason, keep turning. And like I said, this is all just supernal imagery, But for whatever reason, it's this weirdly...
It never connects.
Right, it never loops back around. It's a... Yeah, it's a mystery. But the end result, I feel like, is you get this idea of some kind of infinite horizon.
Not here.
Like a verge or
some other plane.
I think you can pretty well go, not Kansas. Yeah.
Okay.
Let me jump back over to Songbird real quick. And you were looking specifically at what kind of information were you digging up with your prime there?
No, I just didn't talk loud enough. I think what I was trying to dig into is, now that everything's here, now that we've put it together in approaching closer and closer to the right angle, what can I get out of the, understanding how and why this was made and what it does?
Gotcha. You dig into this, and especially Weird kind of interrupts you for a second as she rearranges things, and things kind of click and kind of coalesce. And this thing is this is a lock. This is literally a lock. This is
My
a
clock.
giant. This is a giant lock on something or someone.
Could this be a key to an iris?
Potentially could be. I mean, keys to
Umber,
an
like,
iris can be
looks through the middle of it.
It is solid.
Oh.
It's not a kaleidoscope, but that would
Right.
be cool.
Oh, the things you would see, and
If
how
you had
fucked
made
it
a
might be.
kaleidoscope, look at the sun and
I
then
did
twist it in the right way.
have that thought, is that when you said that it was like rotating, is that it could like, depending on the order, you could like spyglass into a different supernal realm. It's like, oh, that'd be neat.
That'd be cool.
But
Very
that's
national
not this,
treasure.
huh?
That's not this.
Space-wise, there's no connection to a location that I can glean.
Mm-mm. Which, considering all the other bullcrap that you've dealt with sympathetic connections with these objects, probably does not surprise weird.
Mhm.
I was going to reluctantly hop into my mind and ask Ursula if she has any input.
Okay. Meta-wise, mechanically, going and unlocking that door to go talk with her is going to basically let her out again. More
Well,
or
can't
less.
you talk through the door?
No.
Yeah, no. I like having her locked down.
Yeah, I mean, if nothing else, in 24 hours she's going to be back out, so you can ask her then.
Yeah, if you haven't gotten it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, so.
So at this point, between the spell casting, the investigation, futzing with it, it's probably been about 2 hours that you guys have been here. Just giving you a sense of time.
Yeah, I want, I guess, to keep an eye out. Can I have Gabe,
Oh, I'm sure Gabe and probably Raven at least have been
scouting?
For sure.
walking around
Because
the area.
we were being followed.
Mm-hmm.
I have the feeling that we're at a dead end here. For now.
It possibly be true.
Yeah, I don't know how to figure out where this goes.
Yeah, it definitely feels like there is a hole in your knowledge.
Mm-hmm. Which is why I had the idea that Ursula might know something, but also I don't like the thought of not keeping her leashed.
Yeah.
So in the meantime, what do we want to do with this?
Twitch chat says, lick it and see what happens.
No.
Mm-mm.
I'm kind of thinking split them back up. Unless anybody has any other ideas.
My arcana are super relevant at trying to discern more from this.
Yeah, I'm really disappointed I wasn't able to get anything through fate. Because that might at least give us a direction to go
Well,
in.
and bear in mind, similar to as I said with Songbird, this is now that they're basically in a new form and closer to their supernal ideal, they're much easier to understand. So if you guys want to roll again, the ones that you had failed on, you're welcome to do so. Yeah.
That's cool if you had said one roll. So.
Try death again and see.
5 successes.
Oh, okay. It's like we're Craig was making a face, but it wasn't. Oh, and 5 successes from Adritis. Cool. Okay. So
Songbird joins the 5 party too.
Let me inspect these rolls here. Okay, those look legit, I guess. So starting again with at the top with Fate.
because like matter and fate, like objects have a purpose.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So-
And I think similar to what what Songbird had gotten out, they determined that this is a lock. Weird looks at this and goes, this is also a lock and is designed and destined to hold something back until its appointed time. There is a sensation that this will open again at its appointed hour. What that particular appointed hour is and what will happen, you're not 100% sure, but there is that whole throwback to the whole ending civilization thing that you dealt with before.
Don't
So-
know how much death can tell me about it.
So it isn't that isn't necessarily a location it's waiting for. It's waiting for conditions to be right.
Potentially, but you definitely know that the location is also specific
Okay.
in order to open. Atreides, when you dig into this and like, okay, death site, let me try. Oh, okay. These are soul marks in that are kind of coming up at your face, and they similarly there's something muddling the translation. I think at this point, especially as all of you are starting to look at some of this stuff to try and read the interior to get information out of it, you definitely feel like you are looking at some kind of code or encryption that is keeping this from being clear. And you're pretty sure that the tumblers being in the right orientation under the right light would make this much easier. But what that is, kind of iffy about. Notably for Songbird, when you're digging into the life side of this, you don't sense a heartbeat, but you sense a heartbeat. Like there is something within these 5 locks that is a super slow, deep sleep, cryogenic, coma, whatever you want to use, of some kind of life within it.
It is alive, even though it's not.
Yeah, and it's probably for all of you, especially like looking at this and seeing soul marks, but there's no soul, life, but there's no life. It's like, this is upsetting. This is not okay.
Yeah, even with my like attainments, I can't get anything at all from the soul marks.
The idea that I think what you can make out is similar to using, like you said, your attainment, these points of existence and life that have shaped this person, highs and lows. They exist. You can see them. There's dozens of these things, which at this point, like, this is somebody who's really, really old or had a very exciting life, but actually trying to decipher what those specific marks are on this person, you are unsure. You can definitely tell that they are awakened. There's this vibrancy to the soul, but you guys kind of already knew that. And Weird is casting a spell.
I am.
What
I'm
are we
going
casting?
to turn the tumblers.
Okay. What do you? What is the spell though?
A lucky number.
Okay. Cool. You
I
just
will bypass
spin-
any withstand.
Okay, cool. You spin all 5 of them and you're like, cool. Pretty sure that's right.
Does it feel different or look different under mage sight?
Nope.
I think that's the right
So-
orientation of the tumblers.
Probably. Well, Atreides kind of looks over. Okay, got it memorized.
Still under the wrong
Mhm.
Yep.
sky,
I
Yeah.
thought
which is
if we made progress, it might give us more, but it's not giving us anything. Well, this
that'll
has
be-
been disappointing. Weird says out
I
loud.
mean,
Yep.
we got a lot done. I just don't know where to go from here.
Yeah. And we have somebody that won't be particularly happy that we haven't made more progress.
Yeah.
I mean, Ursula's got all the time in the world.
Yeah, my bigger problem is that, like, I would like to go ask around assorted Mysteriums and see what I can find about Archmages. I'm not doing that with her hanging out in my head, my soul, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of the same, yeah.
All right. Back up and head back.
And just a side note for Atreides, there are Mysterium members within the Cabal you could send on fetch quests. So that is a possibility. But
It's true. Networks Mysterium, yeah.
Cool. So as you guys are kind of inspecting stuff, weird, you realize that it's been a bit since you've had any kind of like mental communication from Raven. And Atreides, similar for Gabe.
Okay. Can I like try to reach out to them?
Per the spell,
I can see through his senses, just like it will, right?
Yes, I believe so. I'm gonna double check, make sure we play by the book here. That is the wrong. The spell does not help me. I need the familiar manifestation. Let's see here, invisible manifestation. But yeah, I know it's definitely you can see through their sight, or see through their eyes, whatever.
The rules might be under the merit.
No, it's the actual condition tells you all the different stuff. So they're free. Have a connected sympathetic link to one another, which could be potentially dangerous. They use one another's senses with a reflexive action. Casting through this uses remote viewing and can pass mana and essence between them, losing 1 point. Yeah, so you can basically fling your senses between each other. Technically, you don't have any kind of like thought passage or anything like that, but we've kind of been hand wavy about that.
Yeah. I want to try to see what he sees.
Cool. Yeah, kind of close your eyes, open his, and trying to think of what exactly. Yeah, I think basically you have from Gabe's vision can kind of like move your eyes about a little bit, and are like moving, like you're sharing his vision. You're seeing what he's seeing. And there's a lot of eye flick movement. Head doesn't seem to be turning, and kind of there's some look down and kind of glancing down at, you can kind of see his chest, but otherwise he appears to be just kind of rigidly motionless within kind of the depths of the trees. Still, sun is still up, or probably at this point 4-hour drive and 2 hours of investigation starting to set.
Okay, we need to go.
Link arms.
Because
Can't leave the cars here.
We absolutely can.
Yeah. Yeah, we reached out to grab arms.
Because I can bring him back to me, right?
Mm-hmm. With ghost summons? If there's nothing like prohibiting him from leaving, you can make that call. Mm-hmm.
Can I cast that real quick?
Probably.
You can also cast that from home, right?
I mean, it would be a much further distance. But I guess we're considering sympathetic connected, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay, can we go?
But you don't cast sympathetically.
Yeah. Let's see. It's
well, you can't. 3. How does she summon a ghost she can't see then?
She basically, the way ghost summons works, you call for a
call
type of ghost
to a
or
nearby
one by
ghost.
name. Right. And
so
technically all it does is ring the dinner bell. technically. But it also gives them the open condition, so it gives them a place to come hang out.
Mhm.
So, can we go?
I don't want to leave.
Yeah, Detritus
I
is
knew
trying
you
to
were gonna
cast a
say
spell.
that.
Feel like I can't. If I leave, I can't summon him to me. So queuing up the spell.
So whatever happened quickly because neither one of them spoke to us to give us a word of warning.
So be on your guard.
Mm-hmm.
Instant scale, and none of. Yeah, one reach to get him to manifest.
You have that as instant, right?
Yantras, I'm trying to do this quick. I'm just going to use my shadow name.
Okay. Ghost Whisperer calling for a ghost. Yeah, no, that tracks.
Mm-hmm. And I took the -4 to scale because I don't know how far he wandered away.
Sure, okay.
10, 13 minus 4 is 9. 10 successes.
Cool. Roll Gnosis plus Death.
To try to clash of wills to get him back.
Mm-hmm.
1. Oh no.
Yeah, you lash out, make this call, and you feel like there's this connection, especially you have that kind of intuiting of where Gabe is at, and reach out your hand for him, and something slaps your hand down.
Songbird, I know you don't want to go, but we have extremely valuable and important resources here that are going to be difficult to protect in an open fight.
Songbird looks with noticeable disappointment at you and just says, then go.
I'm going to try to get Gabe again. Can I do that?
Mm-hmm.
We need to roll the spell again at a -1, right?
No, because you successfully cast the spell, right? Mm-hmm.
So just roll the spell again and then roll the clash again?
Yes, please. Yeah, I don't think there's anything. Yeah, so that was just 1 second or 1 turn, and that didn't work. You hear a little bit of conversation. They're not leaving. Whatever. Trying again.
6 successes on that one. I'll use my last willpower. 3 successes. Fuck.
Oh, rough. Okay.
And yeah,
quick note, because you can cast teleport on these objects and teleport them to someplace you're sympathetically connected to.
Mm-hmm.
But we came here out of the way to stay away from people in case something bad happened. This is the perfect place for us to have something bad happen. Going back to our sanctum and having people follow us there is not the right idea.
The bad thing that we were worried about happening was an archmage popping out and nuking the area.
So a couple seers showing up to try and steal something from us is something we can totally handle. Now, if you'll pardon me for just 2 seconds, and Songbird slaps his hands down to the ground.
I did it again.
I see that.
Yes.
And I am looking for any humans in a campus-wide area around me.
Cool. Roll.
And roll a spell, probably.
Yes, that too. I'll have to think on that.
At this point, I am just shy of visibly panicking.
Cool. So yeah, there's a 1-2 punch here. Go ahead and roll Gnosis plus life, please. Ooh, actually, hang on. No. I don't think would they clash, because you're just detecting life, not necessarily where they are.
Web of life.
Yeah. Yeah,
Which
no,
in the past has been a general, like, they're over there.
right. But I'm thinking of the things that they're, because they are veiled.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think if that
You
would
might
clash.
just get a general, yeah, there are 2 humans here, but no, like, where they might be.
Yeah. When all else fails, let's confirm what the spell exactly says it does, because I feel like it tells you the nature of stuff being around, feels their presence by the weight exerted, gravity, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, okay. So it gives you wouldn't be like precise, but you can give it kind of direction in relation to you. I'm fine with that. And I don't think the veiling that they have would actually veil against that. So you get a quick count of about 15 humanoids that way. Back towards the up the dirt road, back towards everything else, basically. And as you do your big old slap, coincidentally, Atratus wrenches Gabe away, and you said you took the reach for materialization.
Yeah.
So he pops into existence, starts shaking his arms out and going, "What the fuck?"
What happened? What did you see?
I stopped, and I couldn't move. I mean, I imagine some bullshit is happening, but
yeah, I think the people that were tailing us caught us. You just didn't see anything?
Not a thing.
Cool. If I look at him with Mage Sight, can I see the spell that was just on him? Like,
you could inspect the signature Nimbus if something,
of whatever had locked him down.
Mm-hmm.
That was Gnosis and Death.
Mm-hmm. If you're using Death. Mm-hmm.
Or, well, if I'm looking at a Nimbus...
Oh, because, like, that part doesn't matter. Because no matter what you inspect, you can always end up seeing the Nimbus of a caster.
2 successes on that one.
Okay.
I don't know, it just makes sense to me to inspect the ghost with Death.
Oh, yeah. No, that's fine.
Yeah.
And you're also, well, especially once you start to poke at it, you recognize the lingering nimbus of a death spell. Not exactly sure what exactly it would be in terms of the book, but it definitely basically locked his movement down and just kind of bound him in place. His mind was still free to run rampant, but he was just locked into place. The nimbus that you draw off of this thing is loud and boisterous and commanding. Definitely has some kind of Obrimos feel to it. And just like from the pulpit, from the podium, standing up, commanding kind of sensation.
Okay. I mean, we've dealt with the preachers before.
Paternoster. Mm-hmm. Now, bear in mind, this is Obrimos, which that description
they're
matches
all kind of like
most
that.
Obrimos except for fucking Songbird. And Songbird is still kind of loud.
I just feel like I know that we are fucking with seer things, and seers always fighting each other.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
cool.
But yeah, I mean, honestly, I agree with Songbird on that matter. Like, I don't want to. Got Gabe armling holding him. But yeah, I don't want to take them back to the city.
Hold that thought. Songbird, what was the duration on your Web of Life? Was it just that one, couple seconds?
Is instant scale duration. So
Okay,
it's the duration spell. So
they are moving towards you. They are not far at this point.
Pull my rapier out of my pocket.
We are massively outnumbered.
Yeah, but Songbird counts for like 5, right?
Yeah. How many do you take? I don't think more than 5. 20 for me. Yeah.
Yeah, trying to prep up Lake.
Okay, so because I don't want to get too narratively before we deal with what's actually happening. So what are you guys? You're muted.
I'm casting a spell.
Okay. And Weird draws rapier, and Travis is doing what?
I was looking through my PDF to try to figure out what I want to do to prep for this.
Okay. But basically looking to cast a spell?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is all myself.
Okay.
Is a combined honing the form and levitation.
we gonna fly and punch some folks. All right, Superman.
Kaladin fucking storm blessed time. Let's go.
If only you had your cool ass armor.
Oh well. It's a prize. It's not a tool.
So that's what, 6 overreach? Well, 6
yep.
paradox.
6 paradox. It's 2. My tool is in there, so 4, and I will spend 2 mana.
Okay. So that gives me a paradox of 2. Nothing happens.
Excellent.
And Weird, besides just drawing the rapier, are you doing any kind of spell casting preparation?
I'm just working up something here.
Okay, casting a spell as well. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And how many yantras did you use there, Chris? 2, 3?
3.
3, okay. Cool. Want some bonus potency?
It's a duration spell.
Oh, okay.
Can I queue up a spell so that as soon as I see something, let it go?
Sort of, kind of. This is where you get into touch spells and the fact of making them ranged and basically holding it in your hand. And this is the very classic, I have a fireball that I'm going to throw at somebody, or a beam of energy that I'm going to, and so basically you would cast the spell, go through all that, and then you would have it available to throw at somebody, which I'm going to double check, but I believe is Gnosis plus athletics or Gnosis plus firearms. Let's see here.
It's only 2 dots firearms, but...
So you are rolling Gnosis plus higher of athletics or firearms minus their defense, because they do get to dodge it. There's a cool little merit that's...
Because I don't have fast spells.
Right. That lets you
I had it, and then you pointed out that I didn't have any dots in time.
Right.
So
now, that said, your range, before you start taking negatives, is going to be Gnosis times 10 yards, basically. Medium range, where I think you'll take a -1, I'd have to double check, is times 20.
Okay. I was trying to queue up innervation in an area. So rather than hitting a target, hit the ground and get anyone in that
And in
square.
that case, the target is going to be the ground over there. It's a fairly easy roll in the fact that you're rolling Gnosis plus firearms. But there's no defense because the ground is not trying to dodge.
Yeah, because I don't want to hit one. I want to try to hit more than one if they're together.
Yeah, no. Classic fireball to those, to whom it may concern.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to...
Okay, you ready for mine?
Yes.
I just used one yantra because I wanted it to be quick.
Sure.
I did a Fool's Rush In for advanced scale with the +1. We have no untrained penalties. And you've got a +4 on any die roll you choose 4 times.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Cannot be used for spellcasting.
Cannot be used for spellcasting. I didn't pay the breach for that.
Cool.
I think Songbird casts his spell the slowest and finishes up, and then just like levitates off the ground, and like literally you can see like getting ready to just like
Superman punch the
zoom
first
into the
motherfucker.
trees. Like, let's fucking go.
Sure. Okay, and waiting for Atreides to roll up here.
I think this qualifies for a fool's rush in, right?
A little bit.
We're not really planning this. It's just kind of reacting.
Yep.
And for my Andrea, my hammer counts as a weapon. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a +1.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you could draw your SMG and count it as a weapon.
I was wanting to use a dedicated hammer to cut down on the paradox, so I am overreaching by 1.
Mm-hmm.
Dexterity and stealth to hide.
Yes, but hang on to that here, because I got to get your yantras and everything kind of aligned. Yours is done. Actually, yeah, you can go ahead and roll yours, because with your instant roll, instant cast plus your next turn, so you would have that, because Songbird is going to be 3 turns. And Atreides is rolling the enervation plus what?
Innervation with the reach to immobilize.
Gotcha. Okay.
I had my reaches were instant, the reach to immobilize, and scale.
Okay, so you get your big AoE.
Do I still need the -2 for scale then? Because I don't know how big
That
the
makes it
initial one
wider.
is.
The initial one, let's see here.
That was my only thing.
Yeah, let's see here. I have that in the spellcasting thing. Basic scale advanced reach is large house. -2 becomes a large warehouse.
Oh, large house is good enough.
Like now,
yeah.
A note. This will enervate everything out there. So steer clear, trees,
Birds,
and
squirrels.
yeah. But I mean, as long as they're not sleepers, do you really care? Yeah. Cool. So a little bit of overreach, which would be 3 dice, if I remember correctly.
I'm using my hammer, so it takes it down by 2. So 1.
1. And are you spending the mana to make that a chance die?
Yeah, I have plenty of mana. I'll do that.
Okay. Cool.
Okay.
And so you are rolling 10 -4 is 6, adding on yantra bonus of 6, so 12. And you're using 2 yantras, I think?
That was 3.
Okay.
Because I figured I would be doing it when Songbird was doing their thing.
That's it. Cool.
Force
So you
justice.
have that. Well, actually, because we rarely do it, what does it look like? Glowing in your hand, or?
Yeah, I don't know that I've ever actually held a spell. But
not,
they are just
not,
going
on,
to be kind
not
of,
on the show, but you,
Yeah.
Atreides definitely has.
but yeah, just sort of coalesced darkness.
So
It is Shadow Ball.
As the sun is setting, shadows coalesce into Atreides' hand. Cool. All right. And sorry, Craig, did you make that dex roll to hide? Okay. Cool. Finding cover, any specific spot, like up near the cabin, just
There's going to be
lying
some brush near the cabin.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
All right. And that's where we will end it, because obviously,
One thing before I wanted to have taken one of the the Aesop's Fables, whatever it got turned into. I don't even remember.
Oh, you have the whole thing.
Oh,
Somebody
the whole
tosses
thing?
it to you.
It's
Like when
attached.
I was like, if you're gonna leave, go and toss it to you.
Okay.
and
I don't
bear in
know if
mind,
I
this
want
is
the
a
whole thing, but
fairly
okay.
large object,
Mhm.
like double size of a football,
I have my
American
rapier.
football. But
I have my rapier pocket.
right, yeah, and that's fine.
Yep.
Yep, that's very true. Thwoomp, and just Mary Poppins bag it. Yep.
Mhm.
So long as that spell doesn't get dispelled, which
Yes.
could be
Well,
problematic.
Just going to rip my pants, so that's all right.
That's fair. All right.
Wouldn't be the
and-
first time Weird has been
Noctul has
naked in the
accused
forest.
me like 3 times now of potentially causing a forest fire, and I'll have you know that I resemble that remark, and we'll see next week.
Yeah. And sorry, Death Fox, I just now noticed that one. That was a good line. To whom it may concern, get fucked. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you all for joining us as this, hair-raising? I don't know. Hair-raising, inconvenient, really irritating. I don't know. There's a couple of different terms. The Cabal just not having a good day. It's like, hey, more roadblocks. Oh, hey, look.
What do you mean?
No, we haven't had a bad day yet.
I drove a Lamborghini. I solved part of a mystery, and I'm about to kill some people. 10 out of 10. Good day.
Cool. About to fight some people at least. So as always, come by Discord, eatinto.space. Come chat with us, hang out, give us some ideas of episode titles. We always appreciate those. They make us laugh, and I get to blame you for the puns instead of being responsible myself. If you want to support us monetarily, that's patreon.com/Occultists Anonymous or staylucky.club, which, by the way, the patrons of the Occultist and Sleepwalker tier got to see the little cyberpunk video early, both the first initial kind of not great edit and then the much better edit. Got to see that early today. Or today? Yesterday? I can't remember. They all blend together. So yeah, come by Discord, check that out. I'll be reposting it there, and it'll be reposted on Patreon, and it's going to be on YouTube and stuff like that too. Right. And then of course, we'll give you another reminder next week for Twitch guys, but YouTube guys, if you were watching this on Friday when this came out, Sunday, December 13th, we were playing Cyberpunk Red on the twitch.tv/Occultists Anonymous channel. It's a different channel. It's the one that we've been using to kill Nazis on. Come by, check it out. If we do other future one-shots that are not Onyx Path related, we will be doing them there. Yeah, I think I'm tapped.
Stay lucky.